Okay, so here we are in our library. Right now I just have 39 papers in here, but even if you had 100 or a couple hundred, this would be a very good method, especially useful for research assistants, people maybe, or folks working on new topics that aren't tremendously familiar with the literature on those topics, are building a new library. A really cool use case in Moara is to what I call audit your library, and there's a very simple way to do this. I've mentioned in most videos the agent and the power of having that agent right here. You can drag it in and out. I'm going to ask a really simple question, and that is, and I've prepared this before. Here's my topic. I'm especially interested in studies on, say, developed countries. You could put in some additional almost criteria, but do any of my papers appear just kind of outright irrelevant? Once again, if you're an RA working with a new professor, or you're doing some cross-disciplinary research and you're unfamiliar with some terminology, this is a really great way to just kind of sanity check things. And as we should see, I actually put in a paper specifically that didn't have anything really to do with the topic. It was a PDF upload. And as we'll see here, looking at your paper, most studies are on topic, but a handful are not. Here's a clearly irrelevant one: readiness of upscale and luxury branded hotels for digital transformation. Eventually, we'd love to have some agentic capabilities, click delete, whatever. But for now, easiest thing to do is I'm just going to jump in here. I'm just going to jump in here and delete this paper. Pretty straightforward. So I think that's a really great way. You can also ask questions about, say, if you want to populate your library with certain methodology, you might ask questions about how, what methodologies are covered, etc. And then, one thing not to overlook is, and I feel this would be extremely helpful for a lot of folks, is to ask the basic question of what major areas of literature am I missing? Maybe I'll put if any. Chances are you'll get some kind of response, but again, I have to say, particularly when it comes to, say, you're studying a topic and there's inevitably some cross-disciplinary work coming at that topic from a different angle. Maybe it's a management science angle in this case, or maybe it's a not economics but sociology. Whatever it is, I think this is a really good one to ask. And so, what major areas of literature am I missing? Your library is good, but here are the things you're missing. And then I might go ahead and actually follow this up by saying something like, let's see here. Spillover effects, missing evidence on wage spillovers above the minimum. I think that's really interesting. So I may say something like, per your number 4 mention, give me a single keyword search query for Google Scholar, or whatever you want, AI search, or if you're working and you want to go off on PubMed and do it there. So this is a really interesting way to do it. And then obviously we've got that right here. Pretty darn straightforward. I can go ahead and go back to Google Scholar and make sure that I am including some of those papers as well, doing a bit of title screening as you get into more other fields, cross-disciplinary stuff. But now those get added to my library. I can end up with a very, very complete library.